All right, guys, so just got a new pellet grill from Lowe's. Kind of asked forgiveness, not permission on this one, but my friend Jess has one and he tells me it is awesome. So I just got it. I'm just unboxing it. I kind of want to do like a little video of me like putting it together. It's going to be a little bit of a chore, but that's okay. I wanted to do that. I like putting stuff together, so I just want to kind of go real quick. So if you look, that's the Pitboss. That's the box. It's a Pro Series I got from Lowe's, and it's the 1150. So it's a pretty good sized smoker. The reason I chose this one over the 850 is for a couple reasons. Those are all the parts on it. So I'm going to show you as we put it together here what it's going to look like. But the reason I chose the 850 or this over the 850, this is the 1050 or 1150. 1150. It's the 1150 is because one, the meat probes. So you can see there's 4 meat probes. So on the 850 there's only 2. And then here's another reason. You see this clear window? It'll show you how much pellets you got left without lifting the top. So I thought that was going to be a good feature because I watched another video and he was talking about that window, and if it rains, you don't want to open it up to check your pellets because they'll get wet and then that'll cause you some problems. So there's another reason I chose it. And then the last reason I chose this one, because they're about $100 in difference, is this feature here. This is the, it's like an easy clean ash. So you could just take it out and you can clean it out super easy. So that's something I just felt was worth $100, those 3 items. So that's why I chose this one over the 850. So if you have that question, that's why. So, and like I said, this is the Pro Series 1150 Pitboss. Did a lot of research, and this is the one I came up with because it turns out the Traeger guy works for Pitboss, the guy that originally invented Traeger. I read that. I don't know if it's true. So do your research, trust but verify. But we're going to start putting this thing together, and we're going to start with the legs. So let me get started on it. All right, so we're going to get the legs here. That's these here. That's what we're going to do. And they're going to go on. See how it's got the 3 holes here? They're going to go on just like so. And then we're going to get some bolts on the other side. We're going to do that real quick. Forgot to put the washer on it. So you basically got a locking washer and then a regular washer, and it goes down on there like that. And for you guys that don't want to do this, if you don't like putting stuff together, you just want to use it, Lowe's does put them together for free. So I just chose to, it's easier to transport them. I think, in the box, and I wanted to put it together myself, because it just always seems like whenever I get one of these, somebody's put it together wrong, or they stripped a bolt out, or something's not right. And by the time you know about it, it's too late. So, you know, I really wanted to just put it together myself. And it's really not that much work to do it. And you don't need a whole lot of tools. So, like right now, I just got a Phillips screwdriver is what I'm using. And that's it. And it did say to get a level, so I do have a level out here too. But other than that, so far that's all I'm needing. I think I'm gonna need a hex head based on some of the bolts I saw. So, got one leg on. Let's get the other three on. We'll go from there. Alright, so we got two legs on, and they are labeled too. So if you look on the legs on the inside, it says right front leg, so I know that goes on the front right, obviously. So I just want to point that out so you don't end up with the wrong leg. And the only reason I'm leaving the styrofoam on there while I'm putting this together is because I don't want to scratch anything. So once I get everything put together, I can stand it up. And I also started on the side that the feeder's not on because I don't want to damage the feeder. Alright, so we got 3 down, 1 to go. I don't have any tips here, this one's just a little challenging. now we're installing the shelf. Just 4 more of the same bolts. So it's a bolt, locking washer, regular washer. And you can use a Phillips or a flathead. I'm going to grab a flathead. I just want something a little bigger so I can get a little more torque on the bolt. So this doesn't tell you need it, but you need a wrench. And it's looking like that wrench is coming in at 17 millimeter. And I didn't put the shelf on the other side yet. It tells you to, but I haven't yet because I want to get these wheels on first. So you don't necessarily, I guess you don't really need the wrench, but if you want it tight, you have to get a wrench. And then also this is a pretty thin wrench, and I still can't fit in there with it all the way down. So you can't really get in there. And this one, like when they drilled it a little cockeyed, so it's not exactly perfect. So we're gonna hope it doesn't really mess with it too much. But we're putting it on there anyway. It's not stripped out, it's just a little cockeyed. But it's probably not going to make much difference once it's all the way down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand it up and hopefully not break anything. Well, actually I'm going to put the rear wheels on first. So what it doesn't tell you to put the wheels on until after you're done putting the shelf on. However, I'm kind of skipping that step because I want to stand it up on the wheels, if that makes sense. So, probably just going to put the wheels on and then finish putting the shelf on. So they give you this little package and it has everything labeled on here what it is. This says G times 2. In the book says 26, so just keep that in mind. Just look at it, it's two washers as well. The washers were in the F2 slot, so or the F slot, so you got G and F. That's where those were. In the book, they're labeled 26 and 27, so just keep that in mind when you're looking. So here's how this goes. You got your pin, your wheel. So you put the pin in, you put the wheel on the pin, slide it through, then you're going to have a washer, and then your clip. So now we got the wheels on, we're going to stand it up, and then we're going to finish putting the shelf on the other side to give it more stability. So there's a handle on the hopper. So the easy ash fell out. That's okay. So if it was me and I had to do it all over again, obviously I can't because I've already done it. But I would take that out before you start moving stuff around. I'm going to walk around and make sure the camera's still where it's supposed to be. So just a little adjustment here. So you can look at it of what I'm doing. Because we're going to start doing stuff on the inside too. Okay. So now we're going to finish the shelf, which takes 2 more of the small bolts, the A, B, and C in the pack. All right, now we're good. Okay. Now, on the directions, the next thing it shows is the lid stopper. So, looks like there's already a bolt in there for it. Just gotta find it. Pretty self-explanatory on this one. It's got a slot in the front. It already has the bolt in the top. Slide it down. And then obviously put the bolt back in. And we're gonna tighten the bolt. And then you'll notice now, ta-da, the lid stops. So, now let's look at the next step on it. We've got the legs on, the shelf on, the wheels are on. Kind of did the wheels and the shelf out of order a little bit. So now we're going to go to the handle. So we're going to go to same bag as the lid stopper was in. I'm going to grab this handle real quick. Okay, so it's already got the bolts in there. I'm going to pull the handle. I'm going gonna have to remove this. It's just some advertising on there for the floor models. So there's two bezels on the handle. You just put those in between the handle and the lid itself, and then there's two screws on the back. That's it. Super easy on that part. Next part we're gonna do is the shelf. So we got 3 hooks on the shelf, which are gonna be in here. You see the 3 hooks go here. Those are for utensils. It says there's a tool for these in there, but I don't see one. So it's just a hex head. That's what I was talking about earlier. I need a hex head. So I'm just gonna kind of screw them in, and then we're gonna put the shelf on, and then later on I'll come by and tighten them up. We're gonna put these screws in. It looks like there's 4 of them. We can find out which ones they are. So they're the same screws that we've been using. The one with the locking washer that come out of the A, B, and C little column in there. So I'm gonna set these in here because it'll be easier once I get this shelf lined up. Oh, and they don't go inside, so they're gonna come from the outside in. This one's going to be a little more challenging for me. Because you got to hold the weight of the shelf and line it up. So I'm just going to put a screwdriver on it so I can turn it. That seems to work really easy. And I'm just going to kind of snug it down, not tighten it. So I'm going to be able to move the shelf. Just a little trick if you don't know, just don't want to learn the mechanical class. If you take the screw and go backwards, you'll hear it click into place, and then you can just go forward because it's right in there. Not tighten all the way down until I get the other ones in there. Want to leave it a little bit loose until you get all the screws in, because you might have to move the shelf around, and if you have to move it around and something's tight, it's going to be a little bit tougher. So it's just a tip. You don't have to listen to me, but it does make it a little bit easier. tighten them down. Snug. You can see my little hook on the front. Nice, easy going, okay? Now we're gonna do the smokestack, or the chimney, depending on which part of the country you're from, probably. Or how old you are. So, this does have a felt gasket, so we're going to be careful with it. Because if we rip it, it's going to leak. So, same thing, A, B, and C bolts. Locking washer, regular washer, bolt, locking washer, regular washer. And I'm excited because we're getting to the end of these bolts, which means we're close to being done. So, felt gasket goes in between here. Careful with the felt gasket. Or whatever they make it out of, fiberglass. Because you want to make sure and not rip it. If you rip it or you install it wrong, it's going to leak. And then you're going to have smoke pouring out where it shouldn't be. So, got those two on, set them up. Nice and tight. We're going to put the top on. And this is just going to screw down on there like this. All this stuff later, but I've never had a pellet grill. I'm just showing you how to put it together. So you can use it if you want. Looks pretty cool, doesn't take propane. That was impressive. It just does pellets, so it just put them in the feeder, set the temperature you want. Once again, it's got the 4 meat probes, that's why I chose this model. Because I figured if I was cooking more stuff, I would want that. My main thing, I was thinking turkey and ham. Because I want to cook a turkey and a ham on it, so cooking those together would be cool. Okay, so now we're going to install the shelf brackets. So this is what they look like. They're just 2 black pieces came in. They got a little rounded on one side. Okay, so I got to put those in. I'm going to find out where here in a second. I'm going to guess right there because there's a slot for 3. And you guessed it, your favorite screws. We got we got no washers left. I got 2 washers left. But it's not calling for washers, it's just calling for screws. And it looks like these are going to go on the inside. And that square cut is going to go up. So the pin is on the inside, squares up. You can see they line right up with these holes. This is pretty easy to assemble. I haven't run into anything super difficult yet. I don't see anything crazy. Tips that I can give you yet? No, not really. It's just been pretty self-explanatory. So the reason I took this one home, like I said, is because they didn't have any put together, and they asked me if I wanted them to put it together and I could pick it up tomorrow. I was like, no, I want to pick it up today and take it right now. And then the other thing is, like I said, I've had a lot of people put together these things wrong, strip out bolts, because they're in a hurry, they're doing this for a living, they probably get paid on the amount they put together. So you're looking at somebody probably with a power tool going to town on these bolts, stripping stuff out. So I wanted to put it together myself. So, and this is pretty simple, like I said, I mean, directions are good. I think I had a little snafu with something on the pins down here, but then when I looked again, it was actually the directions were right on the bolts. But just first glance looked a little confusing. Nice and tight. Okay, so everything's on. Now we have the shelf. The front shelf is what we're about to put on. This is the shelf that says Pro Series on it. If you got a Pro Series, I did my research. Looked like Pro Series got the best reviews. So we're gonna get put on. Oh, okay. So it's got notches. Okay. Something with that square. So we're gonna figure that out. We're gonna go with an H. Front shelf. Let's see, washer B. So we did have 2 left. So we've got 2 of the B washers left. I'm going to get those out. I'm going to go with an H screw. Got 2 of those. So 2 squares. Then we're going to go with a number 1 nut. Like a blackened nut on it. And then the bushing is going to be in the J section. So the way this looks, in the book, so you put it on the here, these little notches, okay, and then bolt, okay, that should hold the shelf for a second, bushing, washer, nut. So bushing next on the inside of the bolt, washer, nut. Loose. Once again, didn't tell me I needed a wrench for it. Looks like a 10 mil. Find out here in a second. But I'll find out. So bolt, bushing, washer, nut. And the bushing slides into the channel. You'll see what I'm talking about when you're putting it together. don't put the bushing against the side of the metal. It'll come next to the bracket and it'll ride in that Pro Series channel of the shelf. So now I gotta go find a wrench. I'm thinking it's 10 mil. See if the 10 mil fits. Probably gonna be an 11. Brought over a 12 just in case. No need for anything on the other side because the square in the bracket holds the bolt because it's a square bolt. Be careful not to over tighten it because you will snap it off with a wrench. So I'm just using a ratchet. It's a number 11 mil. But I'm telling you, if you start tightening it down, you can feel it. It'll snap if you tighten it too much. So don't do that. Careful. Alright, so now the Pro Series shelf is on. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Now, looks like we're going to go to the inside of the grill. So we're going to go to the diffuser plate first. That is going to look like this big old cookie sheet with a hole in it and a round piece on the end or down, obviously. This is pretty self-explanatory, as one side, if you look in here, it has a block that goes all the way down that comes from the feeder, obviously feeding the pellets into the grill, which will cause the heat. So this only goes in one way. So put your cutout side down and then slide it in. And that's it. Line it up with your ash plate. So that fits in there just fine. Now we're going to install the flame broiler. So we're going to have a couple pieces here. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to assume this is a frame. Looks like both pieces are together. Okay, so you can see there's some pins in here. This is greasy, so I would recommend burning this before you cook on it or cleaning it. It smells like grease. Doesn't smell like something healthy I'd want to cook on. So on the flame broiler part, you can see here, you've got two little slits here. Pay attention to those on the directions. this drops in here, okay? And it's got 2 pins in it. It'll sit right down on it. That's the opener. That's so you can charge stuff, from what I've read. So then we're gonna put this in here. Looks like it just sits in there, but we're gonna find out real quick. So I've got my plate in there, shelves on. Gonna do the flame broiler connectors. So this, obviously, it goes right here. This is the open flame broiler. So I'll put this in backwards. This piece goes in the front. This piece here. Okay? It's going to connect somehow. We're going to get that figured out. There we go. So you got to kind of work this past the bend. Here, just a little handle sticking out. Then you'll see you open it on the flame broiler. There's a little latch. Now open it. Okay? So that's what's going to give us the flame when we want it. Look, got that. Nothing bolts here, it just lays in there. It even says in here, nothing fastens. Okay. Now we're all the way to the end here. So what we got is basically just putting the grill plates in, which is pretty simple. So looks like got some number 2s, which I actually got the directions laying on top of. Just from what I saw at the store, these are these grates right here, stay in. Those look awesome too. I love that. They got like good hash marks on them. So that means you can make some very good food. You're looking really professional when you're done. Got a nice little grate up on top. I've always thought of a hot dog grate because that's pretty much the only thing I ever put up there. Although I do have a charbroil propane grill and it cooks so hot that I've got to put my hamburgers up there after I cook them for a minute. So this one. Pretty self-explanatory, all done. So pretty neat, nice little project. I'll definitely have some more videos on it because I'll be using the meat probes. This one comes with 2. From what I understand, they kind of just go in this little hole right here, and you plug them in down here. You can read them on your phone, so super cool. I got the shelf here with the Easy Ash. You've got the nice side shelf here, chimneys here. I mean, it's all put together, super simple. Wouldn't be scared of it. Like how it's got all the stickers on it so you can kind of see. It does have the Bluetooth enabled. This is that 1150 I was telling you about, Pro Series. I would definitely get the Pro Series just because it looks really nice, for one. For two, the options on it on the 1150 versus the 850 are a little bit nicer. The easy ash clean out is the reason I went with it, because it's going to be simple just to drop that, vacuum it out real quick with the shop vac and be done with it. The window I like, and 4 meat brogue ports instead of 2 on the 850. However, if you're cooking, I mean, they're $100 different, so you decide what your budget is, but $100 to me for the extra little features on it, I thought it was worth it. If you're never going to use them, then it really doesn't matter. If you don't mind, say, if you want to take this apart all the time to clean in there, you can do that, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to drop the bottom out, vacuum it out real quick and be done. So just depends on what you're looking for, what you want. This is a really cool grill. It cost me, I think it was $649 versus $549. Plus I bought a cover off Amazon. I didn't buy the cover in the store because the Pro Series cover, the Pitboss cover, was like $80, which I thought was ridiculous for a cover. I do have one for my Blackstone, but I bought a Blackstone from a friend of mine, and he had already bought the cover for it, so didn't have to pay for it. It just came with it. So, but I'll be interested to see what that cover's like, because it was $37 on there, and then I'll be interested to see how this thing cooks, because if it cooks really good, I'm going to get rid of my charbroil propane grill, which is going to be cool. And then from what my friend says, this thing is the bee's knees. Like, as far as you can grill on it, you can sear on it. He calls it a reverse sear, where you can smoke something for a while, open it, you open the broiler plate, and it sears it. You flip it over on each side, it gives it that grill flavor. So you can really do anything on it that you want to do. So it's pretty neat grill. I'll be having fun with it, experimenting with it. I'll put some food on here that I've made on it. You know, I'm gonna start doing stuff on the Blackstone too, because I cook on the Blackstone probably like 4 times a week. So that's a really neat device too. So totally recommend this. We'll see in the future if I still recommend it. But everything I've seen on it, Pro Series is the way to go. If you guys need anything, like and subscribe to my channel. Put it in the comments. If you want to see something, how something was done, let me know, and I'll go through it for you and shoot you a video. Thanks, have a good one.